Why the name Megadeth? Why such a negative name or negative name? Why not Mega Life, for example?
You think it's negative?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we dropped the A out of death so that it's not related with a death band, because I mean we're not the kind of band that likes to sing songs about death and witches and goblins and things of this sort. I mean, Megadeth. I think when you listen to our band, I think Megadeth best describes the music that we're playing. I mean, I can't think of a better name that best describes the sound of our band.
Were there any other ideas? Do you know any other names in the beginning?
In the very beginning, I mean, there were a few that were floating around, but none of them like hit us. As soon as Megadeth came up, it was like there was no question that was definitely the name for the band.
Do you think that speed metal is the next great movement after punk, something like that, a revolution?
It depends on what people do with speed metal. I think that in our case, Megadeth music is way beyond speed metal. I mean, there's speed metal. There's a lot of different kinds of music that are involved with this band, but if you can't just be a speed metal band, I mean, a lot of people, all they want to do is play as fast as they can and play as hard as they can and as loud as they can. But if you don't have a slow part to go next to a fast part, how fast is fast? I think that's the main thing, is you have to be a musical band, and speed metal right now is kind of in the limelight, and it's pretty popular right now all around the world, and it could be a big sensation, but it just depends on how many good bands come out of the movement. Because like with any kind of music, the good bands stay, the rest will fall by the wayside. And
what do you think exactly? Why now speed metal has become so successful and popular?
It's like there's kind of a big fusion like with the punk music from the late '70s, and there's a lot of it that's intertwined with just heavy metal music and the musicianship of heavy metal and the attitude and the rawness and a lot of the subjects that the lyrics dealt with punk music, and it's kind of a fusion. I mean, there really isn't any way to explain why. It's just it's the way of the world. It's just one of those things that's happening right now. Why did disco ever happen? Who knows?
Why?
Who knows? Who cares? But it's just one of those things that's happening right now.
What made you choose this type of music personally?
Well, when Dave and I met up back in '83 and we put Megadeth together, it was Dave was writing this kind of music with Metallica, and once he left that band and everything, this is just a style of music that when he picks up a guitar, this is the kind of music that comes out. And between the two of us, we started to get a pretty good style happening with this band. And there again, it's something that you can't really explain. It's just something that happens. I think that when you play guitar, it kind of describes your personality, and this is the kind of music that comes out.
Your music is very dark. Don't you have any fun at all? Do you find anything good in this world?
Dark. I don't know. I mean, I think that there's a lot of fun songs that we do. I mean, a song like "Killing Is My Business" is fun. A song like "502" is fun. "Anarchy" is fun. It just depends on how you interpret it. A lot of people interpret a lot of heavy metal music to be negative. I think in our case, it's more of an awareness of the world, and I think that can be a positive thing, to tell you the truth. I mean, a lot of heavy metal music is pretty negative, and it's pretty gloomy, and it tends to lean towards the dark side. But we have a lot of fun, as you'll see tonight. I mean, we have a great time. I don't think you can say that. Do you have any fun? Because we have a great time. We wouldn't do this if we weren't having fun. If it was work to us, we wouldn't do it.
Why did you choose Anarchy in the UK, or in your case, Anarchy in the USA?
Or in Finland, or Germany, or Italy, or whatever it may be.
What's the story?
It's that's like one of these songs that was never a big hit when it came out, but now 10 years later, I mean, it came out 10 years ago, 1978, and it's one of those songs that's turned into a classic now. Everybody knows the lyrics to it. Everybody knows the music, and it just happened, actually. I mean, the same with These Boots and I Ain't Superstitious off our other two records. It was one of those things that, late night in the studio just happened, and we started playing it and turned on the tape machine, and next thing you know, it's on the record, We didn't, sit down and say, well, we got to put another cover song on the record, what one should we do? We just, started fooling around with it, and this is the song that came out.
Have you discussed with Johnny Rotten about this?
I haven't talked to Johnny, but we had Steve Jones play on it, which is a guitar player in the Sex Pistols, and he's a good guy. He's been a friend of mine for a couple years now, so we had him come down and, do the second lead solo on there, and he also played a couple of rhythm tracks on it. Johnny's, he's been out on the road, so we haven't had a chance to catch up with him, but Steve lives in LA, so it was pretty easy to get a hold of him.
Jeff Porcara of Toto said in this program that punk and stuff like that is no good. What do you think of bands like Toto, for example, who aim at perfection?
I personally think Toto's a pretty good band myself, but that's a completely different style of music. I mean, that's the kind of music you listen to when you're going to sleep, you know. Megadeth is what you listen to when you wake up, so wake up dead, you know. But I mean, they're like, the thing I respect about bands like that is they're a musician's band. They're all really good musicians. They're going for perfection. I mean, everybody should go for perfection, but at the same time, you can't sacrifice a feel and a sound to get perfection. I mean, those guys are all excellent players, and a lot of bands like that. Pop bands are excellent players. And in pop music, you go for that real glassy, clean sound, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times you're writing love songs. We don't write love songs, so.
Why not?
There's enough love songs out there. I mean, you know, our one love song is Love to Death, you know what I mean? So, like, that's DETH, by the way.
Into what direction will Megadeth go in the future?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I listened to So Far, So Good, So What, and I listened to Killing Is My Business, you know, which is our first record. And the only thing that I see is that, I mean, you know, all of us are 3 years older now. We've been playing together, and you know, Dave and I have been playing together for about 5 years now. So it's like you just like start to refine your sound a little bit more, and you start to mature a little bit in your sound, not necessarily your attitude, but your sound. And you know, I think that we're doing the same thing now that we were doing 5 years ago when we put the band together. Only now we can, you know, we've just cleaned up our sound a little bit.
What do you think of religious bands, such as Striper, for example? Are they real?
Well, you know, I mean, they're real at what they do, I guess, but the thing is, to me, rock and roll has always been getting away from responsibilities, getting away from what you have to do. You know, I think that when you bring religion and politics into music, you're dealing in a very dirty area, and I think that, you know, rock music has always been about fun and about letting loose and having a good time and things you want to do, you know, like bands, I mean, even bands like the Beach Boys and stuff that sing about cars and girls and beaches. I mean, that's what people, you know, that's fun stuff. And I think lots of times when you bring religion into it, you first of all, you limit your audience a lot, because either they're going to have the same religious beliefs you do or they're not. And if they don't, they're not going to like your band. And I think that it's better to take the route of sing, you know, deal in other topics with your lyrics and have a good time at it. And people, the main thing is having fun, you know what I mean? It's like I say, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have fun, and the audience wouldn't be here if they didn't have fun.